It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, the kind of day that makes you want to just sit outside and relax. The sky was bright blue, not a cloud in sight, and the sun was warm but not too hot. Perfect, right? That's exactly what I thought. My name's Jake. Well, let's just say it's Jake for this story. I'm a regular guy, nothing fancy about me. I live in a little house with a small yard, and I like to keep things simple. That day, I was kicking back in my yard with my little outdoor radio. It's one of those small ones you can carry around with buttons that click when you press them. I had it sitting on a table next to me, playing some happy music, nothing loud, just nice tunes to enjoy while I chilled. The birds were chirping all around me, hopping from tree to tree like they were having their own little party. The grass smelled fresh, like someone had just cut it, and a soft breeze was blowing through, making the leaves wiggle. I leaned back in my chair, a comfy one with a cushion, and closed my eyes for a second. Life felt good, you know. I could hear the music mixing with the bird sounds, and it was like the whole world was calm and happy. I'm the kind of person who doesn't bother anyone. I don't throw big parties or make a lot of noise. I just like my quiet time, my music, and some fresh air. That's me in a nutshell, Jake, the guy who minds his own business. But here's the thing, not everyone likes it when you're just chilling. Oh no, someone out there wasn't happy with me sitting in my yard listening to my radio. Can you guess who it might be? I'll give you a hint. It's someone who thinks they're the boss of everything, but I'm not going to tell you yet. You've got to stick around because this story is about to get really juicy. Trust me, it's worth it. So there I was, sipping a cold glass of lemonade I'd made earlier. It was sweet and a little sour, just how I like it. The ice clinked in the glass every time I took a sip, and I smiled to myself. My yard's not huge, but it's mine. I've got a wooden fence around it, painted white, though the paint's peeling a little. There's a big tree in one corner with thick green leaves, and I've got a couple of chairs and that little table for my radio. It's my spot, my place to relax. I wasn't hurting anybody, just enjoying my Saturday. The music wasn't even loud. My neighbors could barely hear it, I bet. But like I said, someone was watching me. Someone who didn't think I should be having such a nice time. Let me tell you a little more about me so you get the picture. I'm not the kind of guy who makes trouble. I don't argue with people or get into fights. I go to work every day at a store where I stack shelves and help customers find stuff, and then I come home. I like simple things, a good sandwich, a sunny day, and my radio. That's it. I've lived in this neighborhood for a couple of years now, and most people here are pretty nice. There's Mr. Tom next door who waves at me when he's watering his flowers. And there's a lady down the street who walks her tiny dog every morning. It's a quiet place, usually, but not everyone here is chill like that. Nope. There's one person who's always looking for something to complain about, and that day they had their eyes on me. Picture this, I'm sitting there, my radio playing a song about summer and sunshine. My shoes are off and my feet are resting on the grass. It's soft and cool under my toes. I'm wearing an old t-shirt and shorts because it's warm out. Everything's peaceful. I'm not bothering a single soul. But then I hear something, a little sound that's not the birds or the music. It's the sound of footsteps. Crunch, 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 coming closer. I open my eyes and peek over the fence. That's when I see her. Yep, it's a her, but I'm not going to spill the beans just yet. Let's just say she's someone who thinks she's in charge of the whole neighborhood. She's walking toward my yard and she doesn't look happy. Not one bit. I sit up a little straighter in my chair. My heart beats a tiny bit faster because I can tell something's up. She's got this look on her face like she's mad about something and ready to tell me all about it. I don't even know what I did. My radio's not loud, my yard's clean, and I'm just sitting here. But that doesn't matter to her. Oh no, she's the kind of person who finds a problem even when there isn't one. Have you ever met someone like that? Someone who's always pointing fingers and making a fuss. I bet you have. Well, this lady, she's the queen of that. The music keeps playing, soft and cheerful, but now I'm starting to feel a little nervous. Not scared, just curious. What's she going to say? Why's she coming over here? I take another sip of my lemonade, trying to stay cool. The ice rattles in the glass and I watch her get closer. She's wearing bright clothes, the kind you can't miss, and her hair's all puffed up like she spent an hour fixing it. She stops right at my fence and stares at me. Her eyes are sharp, like she's trying to shoot lasers at my radio. I give her a little wave just to be nice. Hey, I say, keeping my voice friendly, but she doesn't wave back. Nope. She crosses her arms and keeps staring. Now I'm thinking, okay, Jake, stay calm. Maybe she just wants to chat, but deep down I know that's not it. She's not here to talk about the weather or ask how my day's going. She's here because of something she doesn't like, and I'm pretty sure it's my radio. But here's the funny part, I've got a little secret she doesn't know about, something that's going to make this whole thing way more interesting. Want to know what it is? Not yet. I'll tell you soon, I promise. For now, just imagine me sitting there, trying to figure out what's about to happen. The birds are still chirping, but it feels like they're quieter now, like they're watching too. The breeze blows through again, rustling the leaves on my tree. My radio switches to a new song, one with a happy beat that makes you want to tap your foot. I look at her and she looks at me. It's like a standoff, you know, like in those old cowboy movies where two people face off in the street. Except this isn't a movie and I'm not a cowboy. I'm just Jake, the guy with the radio. And she's, well, she's trouble, big trouble. I start wondering what she's going to do. Is she going to yell, tell me to turn off my music? Maybe she'll just huff and walk away. I've seen her around before, always bossing people around. She's the one who leaves notes on your door if your trash can's out too long or your car parked a little crooked. Everybody knows her and nobody really likes her. But me, I've never had a problem with her until now. I've always stayed out of her way. So why's she picking on me today? That's the question bouncing around in my head. The sun's still shining, my lemonade's still cold, and my radio's still playing. Everything's normal except for her. She's standing there like she owns my yard, my house, my whole life, and I'm just sitting there waiting. I could turn off the radio and avoid all this, but I don't want to. It's my yard, my day, my music. I'm not doing anything wrong. So I decide to wait and see what she says. And trust me, what happens next is wild. You're going to love it. So can you guess who she is? I bet you're thinking it's someone super annoying, right? You're not wrong, but there's more to this story than just an angry lady and a radio. There's a twist coming, a big one. Stick with me because this is only the beginning. Things are about to get juicy. What do you think she's going to say? Drop your guess below and let's see if you're right. So there I was, sitting in my yard, sipping my lemonade and listening to my little radio. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and I was just chilling. But then trouble showed up. Her name, Karen. Yep, that Karen. She's the boss of our HOA. That's the group that makes rules for our neighborhood. Karen's the kind of lady who's always checking everything. She'll pull out a ruler and measure your grass, and if it's even half an inch too long, bam, you get a nasty note on your door. She's like the queen of rules, and she loves telling everyone what to do. Karen marched right over to my fence. Her arms were crossed tight, like she was hugging herself because she was so mad. She stared at my radio with mean eyes, like it was the loudest thing in the world. To her, it might as well have been blasting heavy metal music at midnight, you know, the kind with screaming guitars and drums that shake the house. But it was just happy little tunes, not even loud enough to bother anyone. Still, Karen didn't care. She pointed at it and barked, "Turn that noise off." Her voice was sharp, like a dog snapping at you. "This is a quiet neighborhood, and I won't have you ruining it." I looked at her, surprised. Ruining it? With my radio? I didn't get it. I wasn't hurting anybody. So I just smiled nice and friendly and turned the radio down a tiny bit. Not off, just quieter. I thought that might make her happy. Nope, Karen wasn't done, not even close. Her face got redder, like a tomato about to burst. She yanked her phone out of her pocket and started pressing buttons. "I'm calling 911, she snapped, holding the phone up like it was a weapon. "You'll regret this." Now I'm sitting there, my lemonade halfway to my mouth, thinking 911 for a radio. That's the number you call when there's a real emergency, like if your house is on fire or someone's hurt. Not for a guy playing soft music in his yard. This lady had totally lost it. I mean, come on. I almost laughed, but I kept it in. I didn't want to make her even madder, but my brain was spinning. Who calls the police over something this small? Karen, that's who. She's the type who thinks every little thing is a big deal. If a leaf falls on her driveway, she's probably mad about it for a week. I watched her as she held the phone to her ear, packing back and forth in front of my fence. She was talking loud, like she wanted the whole street to hear. "Yes, hello, this is Karen from Oak Street," she said into the phone. "I've got a problem here. There's a man playing loud music, disturbing the peace." I raised my eyebrow. Loud, disturbing the peace. My radio was so quiet now I could barely hear it myself. But Karen kept going, waving her free hand around like she was directing traffic. "I need officers here right now," she demanded. "This is unacceptable." I leaned back in my chair, trying to stay calm. The ice in my lemonade clinked as I took another sip. The birds were still chirping and the breeze was still blowing, but everything felt different now. Karen was bringing drama to my nice, peaceful day. I could see a few neighbors peeking out their windows, probably wondering what was going on. Mr. Tom next door poked his head over his fence, his gray hair sticking up like he'd just woken up. He gave me a little wave, and I waved back. He didn't look worried, just curious. But Karen, she was a storm all by herself. I started thinking about how silly this was. I mean, I wasn't throwing a wild party. I wasn't yelling or breaking anything. I was just a guy with a radio enjoying a sunny afternoon. But to Karen, I was some kind of troublemaker. She kept glaring at me while she talked on the phone, her eyes narrow and her lips pressed tight. "Yes, he's still here, refusing to stop," she said, even though I'd turned the radio down. Refusing. I almost rolled my eyes. She was making it sound like I was fighting her, when all I did was smile and sip my drink. But here's the thing, she didn't know something I did, something big. Oh yeah, there's a secret here and it's a good one. I'm not going to tell you yet though, you've got to keep reading to find out. Let's just say I wasn't as worried as Karen thought I should be. While she was yelling into her phone, I was sitting there, cool as a cucumber. Why? Because I had a little trick up my sleeve. Not a magic trick, but something that was going to make this whole thing way more interesting. Want to know what? Hang on tight, it's coming. Karen finished her call and shoved the phone back in her pocket. She pointed at me, her finger shaking a little. The police are on their way, she said, her voice loud and proud. You're in big trouble now, I just nodded, still smiling. Okay, I said, keeping it simple. She blinked, like she didn't expect me to be so calm. Most people might get scared or mad if someone called the cops on them, right? But not me, not this time. I had a feeling this wasn't going to go the way Karen thought it would. The sun kept shining and my radio kept playing its soft little song. I tapped my foot to the beat, watching Karen stomp around. She was so sure she was right, so sure she was going to win. She's the head of the HOA after all. She's used to bossing people around, telling them how to park their cars, where to put their trash cans, even what color their curtains should be. Everyone in the neighborhood knows her, and most people just do what she says to avoid the headache. But me, I wasn't scared of her. Not today. I could tell she was getting madder because I wasn't arguing back. She wanted a fight, I think. She wanted me to yell or turn off the radio and beg her to stop. But I didn't. I just sat there, letting her huff and puff. The more she talked, the more I noticed something. She was nervous. Not about me maybe, but about something. Her eyes kept darting around, like she was checking to see if anyone else was watching. That's when I started wondering, what's she so worked up about? There was more to this than just my radio. I could feel it. So there we were, me in my chair, Karen at my fence, and a big showdown brewing. She thought she had me cornered, but I knew something she didn't. The tension was building, like a rubber band stretching tighter and tighter. What was going to happen when the police showed up? Would they really care about my radio? Or was something else about to go down? You'll find out soon, I promise it's worth it. For now, just picture Karen glaring, me smiling, and a secret waiting to pop out and surprise everyone. Keep reading, because this is about to get wild. So there I was, sitting in my yard, my radio playing soft tunes, and Karen losing her mind. She was packing back and forth in front of my fence, her bright shoes stomping on the grass. She held her phone tight to her ear, yelling about noise violations and disorderly conduct. Those are big words she used to make me sound like a bad guy. Noise violation, that's when someone's too loud and breaks the rules. Disorderly conduct, that's when you're acting wild and causing trouble. But me, I wasn't doing any of that. My radio was quiet and I was just chilling. Still, Karen was putting on a big show, like she was the star of some loud play. I leaned back in my chair, nice and comfy, and took a sip of my lemonade. The ice clinked in the glass and the sweet taste made me smile. I watched Karen march around, her voice getting louder every second. Yes, he's breaking the rules, she shouted into the phone. I need help right now. I didn't say anything. I just kept sipping my drink, letting her talk. Neighbors started peeking out their windows. Some looked annoyed, like they were tired of Karen's noise. Others were laughing, hiding their smiles behind curtains. Me, I stayed calm, super calm. Why? Because I knew something Karen didn't, something juicy. But I'll get to that in a bit. Karen kept going, waving her arms like she was trying to fly away. Her face was red and her hair bounced every time she turned around. She was mad, really mad. I could see it in her eyes. She thought she was winning, thought she was going to get me in big trouble, but I wasn't worried. See, I'd heard whispers about Karen lately. Little hints from people around the neighborhood. They didn't say much, just quiet words here and there. Stuff like, she's not as perfect as she acts, or Karen's got secrets. I didn't know what it all meant at first, but it stuck in my head. I started paying attention. Then there was this other thing, something I'd seen with my own eyes. A strange car had been parked near Karen's house a few times. Not every day, just sometimes. It wasn't a normal car like the ones our neighbors drive. It was plain, no bright colors, no fun stickers, unmarked, like it didn't want anyone to notice it. And it looked official, you know, like it belonged to someone important. I saw it once late at night, just sitting there with its lights off. Another time I spotted it in the morning, parked a little down the street. I didn't tell anyone about it, not yet. I kept it to myself like a secret in my pocket. But it made me wonder what's going on with Karen. Minutes ticked by, tick, tick, tick. The sun was still high in the sky and my radio kept playing its happy little songs. I tapped my foot to the beat, watching Karen rant. She was still on the phone, talking fast. "He's ruining everything," she said. "The police need to come quick." Then she hung up and pointed at me, her finger shaking. "The police are on their way," she shouted, loud enough for the whole street to hear. She looked at me like I was some sneaky criminal mastermind, like I'd robbed a bank or something. Me, a guy with a radio and a glass of lemonade. I just nodded, calm as ever. "Okay," I said, nice and simple. Inside my head, though, I was thinking something else. "Oh, they're coming all right," I thought. "But not for the reason you think, Karen." I didn't say it out loud, nope. I kept my mouth shut and my face relaxed. She didn't know it, but I had a feeling this wasn't going to end the way she wanted. What was Karen hiding? Oh, you're about to find out, but not right this second. Let's build it up a little more. Karen stopped packing for a moment and stared at me. Her eyes were sharp, like little darts trying to poke me. "You think this is funny," she snapped. "You won't be laughing soon." I didn't laugh. I didn't even smile this time. I just looked at her, sipping my lemonade. The neighbors were still watching. Mr. Tom next door leaned on his fence, his eyebrows up like he was waiting for something big. A lady down the street opened her door a crack, her tiny dog barking behind her. Everyone could feel it. Something was happening. The air felt thick, like before a storm hits. I started thinking about those whispers again. People didn't like Karen much, but they didn't talk about it loud. It was always quiet, sneaky stuff. Like last week, when I was walking home from work, I heard two neighbors chatting by their mailbox. "She's been acting weird," one said, "yelling at everyone lately." The other nodded and whispered, "I bet she's hiding something." They didn't see me, so I just kept walking, but it stuck with me. And that strange car, it was another piece of the puzzle. I didn't know how it all fit together yet, but I could feel it. Something was off. Karen started packing again, her shoes making little thumps on the ground. She was muttering to herself now, stuff I couldn't quite hear. "Ruining the neighborhood, can't believe this, police will fix it." She sounded nervous, not just mad. That's when I noticed her hands. They were shaking a tiny bit, not a lot, but enough to see if you looked close. Why was she so worked up? It was just a radio. Or was it? Maybe it wasn't about me at all. Maybe something bigger was going on. and I was just the guy she picked to yell at today. The birds kept chirping, but they sounded far away now. My radio switched to a new song, one with a slow beat that made everything feel a little spooky. I looked at Karen and she looked back at me. It was like a game, who would blink first. I didn't. I just sat there, cool and quiet. She didn't like that. "Wipe that look off your face," she yelled. "You're in trouble and you don't even care." I shrugged. "We'll see," I said, keeping my voice soft. That made her madder. She stomped her foot like a kid having a tantrum. The time kept moving, slow and steady. The sun was still bright, my lemonade was still cold, and Karen was still fuming. I could hear a car somewhere far off, maybe the police, maybe not. I didn't know yet, but I wasn't scared. Why? Because of that secret I mentioned. Those whispers, that strange car, they were little clues, tiny lights in the dark. I didn't have the whole story, but I had enough to stay calm. Karen thought she was in charge, thought she was calling the shots. But something told me she was about to get a big surprise. "What's she hiding?" "Oh, it's good, trust me, you're so close to finding out." The police were coming, sure, but this wasn't just about my radio. It was bigger, way bigger. Stick with me, because the next part's going to blow your mind. For now, just picture Karen packing, me sipping, and the whole neighborhood waiting. Something wild was on its way. So there I was, sitting in my yard, my radio humming a soft tune, and Karen packing like a wild animal. She was so sure she'd won, so sure the police were coming to get me. I just sipped my lemonade, watching her with a little smile. Then all of a sudden we heard it, sirens. They wailed in the distance, loud and sharp, like a fire truck or an ambulance. But these weren't fire trucks. Nope, these were cop cars, and they were getting closer. Karen's face lit up with a big smirk. She thought she'd beat me. "See," she said, pointing at me. "They're here for you." The sirens got louder, and soon 2 cop cars rolled up right in front of my house. Their lights were flashing, red and blue, spinning around like a crazy light show. Karen practically ran to them, her arms waving like she was trying to flag down a plane. She was so excited, bouncing on her feet. "Officers, officers," she cried, her voice loud and squeaky. "Arrest this man, he's disturbing the peace." She pointed at me again, like I was the worst guy ever. Disturbing the peace. That's when someone's making too much trouble or noise. She thought my little radio was some big crime. I stayed in my chair, watching. The cops climbed out of their cars, 2 of them, both tall and serious. They had dark uniforms and shiny badges that glinted in the sun. Karen kept talking, fast and loud. "He's been playing that radio all day. It's too loud. You need to take him away." She was so sure they'd grab me and haul me off. But here's the funny part, they didn't even look at me, not once. Their eyes were locked on her. They walked straight toward Karen, their boots thumping on the ground. Her face froze, like someone had hit a pause button on her. "Ma'am," one officer said, his voice deep and calm. "We need to speak with you now." He stood right in front of her, hands on his hips. Karen blinked, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. "What?" she said, her voice all shaky. No, you're here for him. I called you. I'm the one who dialed 911. She pointed at me again, her finger wobbling. She was so confused, it was almost funny. The cop shook his head, slow and steady. "No, ma'am," he said. "Oh, we've been investigating you for weeks." Karen's eyes got huge, like 2 big marbles. "Investigating me," she squeaked. "For what?" The cop didn't smile. He just kept talking, calm as can be. "HOA fraud, illegal fines, harassing residents. We've got proof. You're coming with us." Well, let me break that down for you. HOA fraud. That's when someone in charge of the neighborhood rules, like Karen, takes money they're not supposed to. Illegal fine. That's when she makes people pay for stuff they shouldn't have to. Harassing residents. That's her being mean and bossy to everyone like she's been doing forever. And they had proof.